Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Going Bowling. And it's not Andy in this seat. It feels a little weird sitting in the boss man's seat.
Come on.
But Jace LeJeune alongside former LSU quarterback. Also a big part of what we do here at Gridiron Football, Marcus Randall. Marcus, always a pleasure.
What's up, Jace? Yeah,
Absolutely.
always. Yes, indeed, man. Always here ready to talk some ball and see what's going on in the world of football.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Before we talk about the bowl game and what the Gridiron game and how that's going, I would be remiss if I do not ask you about what's happened over the last couple of hours, 24 hours. And obviously I cover LSU here at Gridiron Football, so I have to ask you about your thoughts. LSU is moving on after 3.5 seasons with Brian Kelly, and they decided that enough was enough and time to move on, and a lot of changes this morning. They've also fired Joe Sloan. But first, I just want to say, or just ask you about what your thoughts about the decision from LSU to move and part ways with Brian Kelly after 3.5 years.
It came as a shocker, but we all know the new wave of sports is pretty much, it's every year you're getting evaluated to see where you are, and with the expectation of what LSU had coming into this season, offensively, from having a potential Heisman candidate for as a quarterback, and then you had your young running back Durham that did well last year coming into this year, and you just thought that you were going to see more excitement from the offense, and you just haven't seen it. And then and being able to go against the teams we went against and to get the losses we have and the way we lost the last one, I think that at this point it was I think they saw it was time for a change. And again, we're going to see this all across the country here coming up, man. There's going to be a lot of guys be in this same boat. So it comes as a shocker, but at least that we did it now, that we get a chance to at least finish the year off and still have guys ready to, or we'll have a chance to have a lot of valuable guys come up that we can pick from moving forward.
Yeah, and it kind of gets you ahead of everybody because, like
Correct.
you mentioned, there's so many schools out there that are going to make changes and already made changes. LSU's not the only big name program that is going to be looking for a coach. I mean, Florida, Penn State, Arkansas, UCLA, Virginia Tech. Those are just some of the names that LSU will be competing for a head coach. But as an LSU player, former LSU player, is there a preference? Is there somebody that you really like to be the next head coach at LSU, or what are some qualities maybe even that you would want?
I've heard a lot of names thrown out there, a lot of good guys, but at the end of the day, whoever comes in, it just can't be a good coach. It got to be a guy that can understand our culture, understand the recruiting dynamics of our area and the areas that we go after, and we got to be able to have guys that can come in and be able to get that fire back up and going. So I will say that I just saw a post with Coach Moffitt on it from Texas A&M, and they were basically showing about the strength program and about, they just talked about he was the guy behind our last 3 national championships, and to have that guy be on the other side. So, saying all that to say, we're going to definitely have to make sure we got the right strength and conditioning guy coming in here to be able to make sure that we are have our guys ready to compete physically, really.
Right. I know that was a sweet revenge there for Tommy Moffitt at Texas A&M, and like you mentioned, he was a huge reason behind LSU's success over those 20-plus years. And you obviously
Correct.
know what it's like to play for Tommy, and obviously that was a big game for him. And I know the A&M players actually were saying that they were going to win this game for Tommy Moffitt, and you saw that there. When you kind of refer and look back at the Brian Kelly era as it's finally ended, what comes to mind when you think of his tenure here at LSU?
The first thing comes to mind is Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, right. Right.
Him bringing Jaden Daniels in, I guess that was one of the highlights that he did do. He brought in Jaden Daniels. He understood the dynamics of bringing him in, and even when it didn't look as well in the beginning when he first got here, sticking with him, knowing what kind of player he was going to be, and being able to see that. So that's the first thing I can see. But then also comes up is the games we played in the past where we had those losses early in the season. So even though we rectified it this year, but those are just some of the things. I don't really have. There really isn't any other big highlights that jump off at you.
Right.
Other than those things.
Yeah, I mean, overall, if you look at the win-loss record, it wasn't bad. I mean, he went 34-14 in 3.5 years.
Correct.
But obviously, you know, the height of it was Jaden Daniels, that 2023, the Heisman Trophy year. And this first year, he comes in, he leads LSU to the SEC championship game. They beat Alabama. But LSU just, under Brian Kelly, could just never build off that momentum when he came in off that first year.
Correct. So that's what we were at, and I think that's what we've seen, and this was the year to actually get it to going and try to see if we can get there. The playoffs has been extended, so now you actually have a chance to actually get in there now, even with a 1-2 loss. So now when you start looking at 3 losses and you still can't get into that at least into the playoffs now, it's time to make that change.
Yeah, and they made the change, so Frank Wilson will be the interim head coach moving forward for LSU, and that's really big news, and I know you know Frank as well, so he'll get his opportunity. He's been with LSU, he's been an assistant head coach under Les, you know, he's brought in a lot of great talent here, you know, Tyrann Mathieu, Leonard Fournette, those are some of the big recruits he helped bring to LSU, so he'll get his chance to lead the LSU program, at least just for the rest of the year, and then Alex Atkins, who has play calling experience, he was the offensive coordinator at Florida State, even when LSU lost to Florida State those years, he was the offensive coordinator, so he will call the plays the rest of the year. So what do you think about how LSU could finish the year? I know they got a tough one out. They got a bye week this week, but they got Alabama, and you got some tough ones, Arkansas, you have Oklahoma, and you got Western Kentucky in these four games. But what do you expect from LSU the final 4 games? Because it's tough, coaching change, all your goals are out the window now because the college football playoff goals are down the drain. So what do you expect for LSU in the last 4 games of the year?
It's gonna be hard to tell because now that they've opened up the transfer portal for guys to be able to have that window to be able to move around. Then you got some guys that's gonna be thinking about going to their next stop, which is the NFL. And it's just going to be interesting to see how many guys continue to play. If we're going to move people up or we're going to change the style of play. I just think it's just managing right now, so we could just manage to get through the rest of this season, and then be able to make sure that we're ready to go. You know, as we move forward into next season, pretty much.
Absolutely, but definitely had to pick your brain there about LSU before we talk about really what the show's all about, which is about the Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game. And Andy can't do the show. He's still recovering from back surgery, and I know he's going to be back with us pretty soon. He's too hard-headed knowing Andy.
Not too.
He's always going to be doing something. Obviously he's doing a lot better, and I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers going his way. Keep him going. I know he's doing a great job right now. So if anybody's asking, he's feeling really good. He called me this morning, called Richard this morning, and we're kind of holding down the fort for him until he comes back. But Marcus, we'll talk about some of the guys that are going to be committing to play in the Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game. We've already got a lot of announcements on our website already about the guys that are committed. And we're going to start off. We're going to have 5 guys. We usually have about 4 or 5 guys we talk about. And we're going to have a couple in-state guys, and we'll kind of make our way out of state. But we're going to start with a guy first that you've actually seen at a Gridiron Football camp. It's Ryan Varese from Madison Prep, defensive end, kind of linebacker type hybrid guy. He's been an all-district player, team captain for Madison Prep, which is a team always full of talent, and you know that what Coach Landry Williams has done. 3.3 GPA. It's got an offer from Lafayette Christian University, so been a really great player for the Chargers. And we're going to have a guy that can make things happen on the defense side of the football, Marcus.
Yeah, when you start talking about defense, you start talking about toughness, man. This is what this guy brings to the table, man. He's tough. Athletic, man. He can play, and he, like you say, he's at Madison Prep. He's been around studs, and he know how it goes. So he understand the process. Again, like you said, we had a chance to see him in camp this past off season. So just seeing the development and a guy from being around here in the Baton Rouge area, man, I'm excited to have him being a part of the game, and look forward to seeing him make this playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, you're a Baton Rouge guy, so I know you're really excited. I know we're kind of bringing this national a little bit, but I know you're really excited about the Baton Rouge guys, specifically, coming to play in the bowl
And his head coach is, Coach Landry Williams.
Sure.
I'm from the same neighborhood. We went to the same high school. He and my brother were great friends, so I watched their program, and man, they got a great program going over there. And for him to be one of the captains over there speaks a lot of value.
Yeah, especially all the talent over there, and you're saying you're a team captain on a loaded team that's always competing for state championships over at Madison Prep. Ryan Varese is a guy we followed a whole lot, so we're really excited about Ryan. He's committed to play in the Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game, and you can actually read more about him on our website, gridironfootballusa.com. So Ryan Varese is a new commitment we talked about today. Definitely, he's an outstanding pass rusher, can also stop the run. He's got a good frame as well, and a versatile guy, gets his job done in the classroom, 3.3 GPA, all-district team captain. What more can you say? He's still an athlete, so these are the type of guys that we bring in the Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game. Marcus, you know who's having a great year this year?
Who is that?
Jules Sumner High School in Kentwood.
Come on.
They're having a fantastic year. They are undefeated right now. I believe they are the #1 team ranked in the 3A polls in Louisiana. And if you go watch a Jules Sumner game, Marcus, I tell you one thing. If you beat them, you're still going to get bruised up and beaten up pretty good because they are physical, hard-nosed running football team, and it's because of guys like this one, our next commit we're going to talk about, Marcus. Ashton Broussard, offensive lineman from Jules Sumner, 3-year starter on the offensive line for the Cowboys over there. He can squat over 500 pounds in the weight room. Really strong kid. Versatile, too. That's what you want in an offensive lineman. He started the last couple of years at tackle. Now he's your starting center. So it shows that he can play at probably your two most important positions on the offensive line.
Right. And when you start talking about offensive lineman, man, a head football coach, man, we love to hear it. Because, again, if you can run the football, then you're going to win some football games. And as we see that they're 7-0 right now, and they're loving to run the ball, that's what we've been talking about, a lot of these coaches that's getting fired now because they can't run the football.
Right.
So when you start talking about guys that you could bring in, and you start talking how on that offensive line, and by me being a quarterback, I love these guys always. So again, the things he brings to the table, the toughness, the size, and being able to block the way they can block, man, it's going to be awesome to have him part of the game.
Marcus, I'm sure there were plenty of times like you gathered your offensive line at LSU. It was like, hey, I got y'all. I'm going to treat y'all to dinner. Like, it's on me. Just make sure I keep my jersey clean for Saturday. As much as you can. Make sure you're on their good side. But Ashton Broussard, awesome offensive lineman. Got a chance to talk to him at our media day. That's when he got his offer at our Gridiron Football Media Day earlier this year. So a big reason why the Cowboys are having such a huge success this year.
Keep balling, man. Keep balling.
Looking forward to seeing him in a Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game as well. And we'll have more information about him on the website too. Marcus, you've actually talked to his dad a whole lot. This next guy we're talking about, you saw him at our camps, and he's actually doing this thing right now for another undefeated school right now, Loyola College Prep. And that is Ian Wallace.
Right.
So you got a chance to meet Ian when Andy talked over there in the Mayor DeRitter. They made that conversation earlier this year.
So man, had a chance to meet him and his dad that they came in for the session that we were doing over there. And at that time, he was still rehabbing his knee. He was getting back into the swing of it. So man, I had a chance to meet him and follow his progress as he worked through, getting back healthy and all those different things like that, man. But like you say, man, he's a big part of that process that they have going too. You're talking about a guy that stands about 6'4", right at 300 pounds, and that can move, that's physical, that's just big solid guy.
Yeah, I mean, like 6'3", 6'4", 290 pounds.
Right.
He's a center for Loyola College Prep, and you've seen their quarterback play, Bryce Restovich, at our camp, and he's actually one of the state leading passers right now in the entire state of Louisiana, with a couple of big names. Like right now, it's Bryce Resevich, it's Elijah Haven, who's the Dunham quarterback, and Peyton Pop Houston, who's the LSU commit for Evangel. And he's in that list. But the guy that's snapping him the football is Ian Wallace, and Ian Wallace is a huge reason for their success. 3.8 GPA. He played his prior football at Captain Shreve, transferred to Loyola College Prep, and that's really given them an extra dimension. They can run the football they need to as well. He makes all the checks. When you're a center, you got all the checks, right?
You start talking about centers and guys that come in center. When you're in the center, and you could sit there and make the checks. Whether you could play any those other positions as well. Anybody who you could trust to put at center and to be in the middle of there to make those calls, man, that's a huge spot to be in, and that speaks volume of his knowledge for the game.
You got two guys that can do it, because Ashton Broussard and Ian Wallace. So you're gonna have two centers in the bowl game. That
so even if they don't play center, it's good to have. It's good. I like to be on teams where we can have about 5 or 6 people that can snap and play center.
Right.
Again, you never. That's so important right now with the center quarterback exchange. Man, you got to have those guys and guys that understand the blocking schemes right there in the middle.
Yeah, might as well keep the offensive line train going, but it is a Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game, which means that, these 3 guys are from Louisiana, but we also got some out-of-state guys that are filing in right now. There will be more and more out-of-state guys that are coming in, but we have our first actual commitment right now from the state of Texas we're going to announce, and this is an offensive lineman from Timber Creek High School in Texas, Caden Kaiser. So Caden Kaiser has committed to play in our Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game, 3.6 GPA. You kind of notice this with the offensive lineman, pretty high GPAs. A frame that he can grow and add weight to, but 6'3", 230 pounds, 240 pounds, around that. He's named Offensive Lineman of the Week, and he's actually got some, in case hopefully nothing goes wrong, but he's got some CPR, EMT training as well.
Okay.
So just in case, he's protecting quarterbacks, and he's also protecting people out there. So it makes all at the same time. But another offensive lineman there.
Got to do it. Yep. Again, another offensive lineman. You're talking about a guy that's come from Texas, guys that they're used to being developed to being able to do certain things and to run certain types of offenses. So you got guys that can come in that's going to go along with the other guys that we just spoke about on the offensive line. But one of the things that you are talking about are the grade point averages.
Yeah.
To be able to play on the offensive line, and especially if you're going to have a good offensive line, unless you're just going to run 1 or 2 plays the whole game, if you're just coming straight, man, there's so many different things that you have to take into consideration and be ready for and be ready to make checks on. So you got to have smart guys that's up there that's ready to make these different things, that see these different fronts. Because even though we got rules, but they may change depending on what front, what blitz, or how the defense lines up. So if you don't have savvy, smart guys up there, then that defense is going to be fooling you all night long with stunts and blitzes. So it's good to have those guys in there. And then when you start talking about an All-American game, a lot of times that's what people ask. Who's going to be my line? Who's going to be the lineman?
Right.
But again, you need guys that can pick up things fast during that week to be able to be effective when you start talking about the bowl game.
Yeah, and I know these are guys, you have a team as well. We have 4 teams this year for the Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game. So you're kind of looking at, all right, which guys, this is kind of a scouting opportunity for me. Which guys I'm going to draft, because you're actually one of the guys that will be drafting the teams, one of the GMs for the team. So you're actually kind of looking at, all right, which guys are going to be on my team, so that way we can win this whole thing. We're going to talk about that dimension too, because I want your thoughts on that. But we talk so much about the linemen, and it's great to give them some love, because they don't normally get the headlines, normally get the love. But we're going to talk about the guys that carry the football and run the football. So you mentioned the Gridiron Football All-American game from all over the place. Well, we also just got our first commit from the state of Florida as well, and it's Paul Hendricks from Martin County High School. He's a 2-time MVP over there in the district, 6'2", 225-pound running back. Florida Atlantic has offered him an FAU offer. So we got a Division I running back playing in the bowl game, a bruiser, 225 pounds, and he has committed to play in a Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game. I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of guys in the bowl game. They're going to be willing to tackle a guy that's 230 pounds, just as big as them, running the football.
Yeah, and we start talking about that, now you start talking about those bruisers, man. Talking about those big guys, and a lot of people want to spread the ball out now. You want to go into that spread and throw it around the field, but we just talked about it. We talked about it earlier, man. You got to have a run game.
Yeah.
And you want to have a guy that when you start talking about the third, fourth quarter, man, a guy that they hopefully don't want to tackle anymore throughout the rest of that game, and that's when we could just start kind of either, if you got the lead, be able to hold the lead and be able to just weigh down on them, or you just weighing down defenses to be able to take the lead late in the game. So, man, you start talking about big guys that we could bring in and out of the state of Florida, man, that's going to be big for the game right there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Escambia crew is always going to come down and help us a lot, but to branch off even more and get a lot more talent from the state of Florida, the Sunshine State. The state of Florida is always a great football state with a whole lot of football talent. So that's going to be really, really interesting. But we talked about 5 athletes. We actually have about, I mean, we're way behind. I mean, we probably have like 50 guys already committed. So if we haven't called your name, you know that you're committed. Trust me, we know. We're probably going to expand it the next couple of shows. We might have to rattle off 10 names instead of 5. Starting to get them in. So this will probably be our last show we do that. But all these guys you can read more about. They'll be posted on our website later this week, as well as the guys that you and Andy talked about. Those commitment announcements will also be on our website this week at gridironfootballusa.com. Well, basically to wrap up the show, I know you and Andy talked about this as well last week for our bowl game, but we're going to keep promoting it this way because I think it's going to be really fun, extra dynamic with the senior game this year. But we're adding more teams, so we're adding more talent, so we're also adding more games. Correct. So we're going to have 4 teams. You'll have 2 games, 2 college games on December 30th. And I love the fact that we're actually going to have this settled. We're going to have like a champion basically settled like this year.
Yeah, overall.
Like a tournament kind of thing. That's what's going to make pretty cool about it. Obviously, your team will be one of them, but we'll have 4 teams, 2 games, and then you'll have the extra quarter after that, and then you'll kind of decide, all right, who's the winner there. And then you'll have another overtime. First team to scores wins after that.
Correct.
So if it goes overtime, in that quarter, so that one quarter that is played. But yeah, your thoughts on the format this year and how that's going to be changed this year for the bowl game?
It's going to be different. It's going to add a lot of incentives to the game, and we get a chance to see more and more athletes and get to help more and more athletes at the end of the day. I know it's been a thing over the last few years of guys wanting to play, and then we just run out of space.
Right.
And, especially so now being able to be successful in running those bowl games and getting pretty much 90 to whatever percent we've been getting, 96, 97% of guys that's going to college, even the ones that come with no offers. So now you get a chance to help double the amount of kids that you've been helping in the past. So I love that fact of it. But then it does add the incentive. The guys, I know it's going to be all week, man. You really want to compete to win them games because you do want to make it to that extra playoff quarter to be able to be
more playing time,
a champion, especially in the first year that we'll be doing it this way.
Yeah, and I'm curious how the coaches are going to be doing it. The two teams that win, because you have the coin toss. We talked about that. That is going to be an interesting dynamic for me, because if you have the choice, all right, so if you won the toss, do you defer or do you receive? Well, the thing is, if you receive, okay, I mean, you only have a 15-minute quarter to work with. It's like, okay, we can probably possess the ball, try to play keep away, keep the ball, and have as long of a drive as possible, score a touchdown, and leave the other team maybe
with just a little bit of time.
Or you think about it this way, like, okay, if I defer, you get the football. If there is an overtime, do I plan for what if there's an overtime? Because if you defer, you get the ball first in overtime.
Correct.
That is going to be something where the coaches are going to have to kind of really think about that, because in overtime, it's not like, okay, you score and the other team has a chance. It's like if you score a field goal, it's over and you win.
Over with. Right. So that's going to be interesting too. I mean, it's going to be. We got to make sure we have our rules ready, because coaches going to be I don't want to have to be at the end of the game.
Have to manage it. Right.
Stop the game and bring out the rule book. So, man, we got to make sure we're going over all those things. But I think it's going to be exciting. It's going to add another dimension to the game that the coaches, I think they're going to love it. They're going to have fun with it, and also the players as well.
Yeah, we also have our junior high game as well, so that don't get lost in the shuffle of our junior high game, and we've grown that. It's going to be the same format as last year. We'll have 3 teams for the junior high game, and they'll actually get their own day. So they'll be playing the day before on December 29th. They'll get a cool opportunity to play on a college campus and play under the lights and kind of get that feeling of what it feels like to play on a college field. So that's going to be really cool for them as well.
They're getting themselves geared up to go to high school. So no, I think last year that was one of the most exciting games.
Right.
Was the three-way junior high game.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of talent, and just to say from that game, I've watched a lot of those guys that's now 9th grade. Man, they are killing it. Especially some of those guys. Gordon.
Jordan Collada.
Jordan Collada, man, he is over there at Catholic High doing it real big right now. And you start talking about some of those guys that came from up north that's at their respective high schools, man. A lot of those guys will be back, I know, for this season.
Oh, yeah.
Right here.
Next year will be the first year as the 2027 class. That'll be the first year we'll start inviting players for the bowl game, for the senior bowl game that played in the first ever junior high game in Alabama.
And Malonson,
BJ Malonson. Yeah, he was one of those guys.
In that first class right there.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool when we get that experience and get to compare the pictures maybe when they were in the junior high game and now when they're in the senior game. That's going to be really cool. Well, we have so many commitments on our website, GridironFootballUSA.com. You can keep track of everything. And just to let everybody know, December 30th is going to be the day of the bowl game. You can actually go ahead and buy your tickets right now. They're actually available on the website after every commitment post. You can go and actually order your tickets for the senior game right now. $15 right now for a great day of football. I mean, nonstop. What else are you going to do? It's going to be, that day, right? Louisiana Christian University in Pineville, Louisiana. December 30th will be the senior game. December 29th, the day before, will be the junior high game. So we'll obviously have a lot more information on our website as we get closer. Marcus, appreciate, as always, coming on board and talking with us about the bowl game and obviously being a part of it. Just your final thoughts as we wrap up the show today.
Man, final thoughts is, man, I know it's getting closer and closer, man. We down to the last 2 regular season games for the high school right now.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Our team, man, is flying by. So I'm excited to see how this season gonna wrap up, and then see the rest of the commits that we're gonna have for the game, so I can get my mind geared around all this talent that I'm gonna see toward the end of the year.
Absolutely. It's like when the season kind of dwindles down, the more and more the commitments rack up. So right now we're at a good spot right now. So we just got to keep on that momentum. Marcus, always a pleasure.
Always
again.
Great. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Look forward to going bowling next Monday.
That's right. Yeah, me and Marcus. It'll be a combination. It'll be me and Marcus or Andy and Marcus. So yeah, Andy, I took your spot this week. That's what you get for taking my spot last week. So a little back and forth action, but I love Andy. But appreciate Marcus. Marcus will be back again for another episode next week of Going Bowling. Make sure to see our website, GridironFootballUSA.com, and check with us every single week here on Going Bowling.